Good Saturday morning, y'all. The birds are chirping, the grass is growing, and I need to pull that freaking power steering seal off again because she started leaking on me again. We were fine for a week, and the next thing you know, it started coming back and leaking. So I need to do that again. I'm going to change that whole seal section out because I noticed the other day when I was running, I had some splatter down here, and we got some goop coming off of here. It's really not too bad. Let me get my phone out light here, and I can show you where it's coming from right around here. So it's coming right out that dust cover again, and then scooging down, I believe, and then dripping down in there in the stones. You can see a little dot, maybe a little bit. But so yeah, I'm gonna clean some stuff out of the side boxes here because I don't like this, period. Making a mess, doing stuff like that. So I need to clean some tools out of the side box, lighten the load, if you will, and pull some shit out of there, pull some shit out of the other side. And then I got this little transmission topper here that I'm going to throw on Frank because I had stole the one. The blue truck had one that was bad on it, so I'd stole the one off Frank, and then I just stuck him down there because I haven't drove it, and I put a piece of tape over it so no condensation or anything could get in there. Probably fire this up later, check that battery box, and see if anything's living back up in there. Guy that lives uptown here is getting a truck delivered today from Illinois, and I told him I'd come down and check it out before he gave anybody any money, so he knew he wasn't getting ripped off, or a truck that someone says is good that's not good. So I'm not going to do this on camera. Probably won't show any of it. Maybe I'll just show changing that seal out, the other seals that I thought were good, that look good, but obviously aren't good. So get to that in a little bit here. And here's the Cabover air ride that I picked up for James Pretty. You see in the pictures at the end of the video. I didn't shoot anything else because I just picked it up and then tried to find a load. Called a guy about a load. Landstar's weird. They want over a year authority, and that guy's like, I talked to the guy and he says, yeah. I said, well, I got a year authority. I know I needed a year. And he's like, yeah, if you are after April, we can't work with you. And I'm like, dude, my stuff's in May. It's been a year, but whatever. So didn't end up getting a load. Bobtail back with that on the back. James gave me a little bit extra money for getting it, so paid for the fuel for me to just come home. Would have liked to find a load. Did see some loads down over in Louisville. Them guys called me and asked me if I'd pull another one of those car trailers up to Wixom, but I told them I was too far away to go get it. It was it would have been almost 200 miles. Probably took me about 3 hours just to get over there, and it was a Friday. I didn't think I'd be able to get over there in time, and I don't want to go that far if I don't have to for something like that. So I just said piss on it, I'm coming home, because I needed, this is right here, this kind of stuff right here is more important to me, getting that taken care of, than making a little bit of money. Because if I'm trying to make money and I'm out running doing that stuff, and then next thing you know I get pulled over and DOT gives me the business and shuts me down, then I'm screwed. I don't have my stuff with me. So better off bobtailing home and taking care of the problem versus running around doing some BS. So that's what's going on today.
On the show, on the Chad Teagan YouTube channel. Behind us,
cheesecloth there. I'm draining it back into that jug so I can reuse it since that stuff is super fresh. Hopefully I don't necessarily want to let the whole thing drain out, but then at the same time I don't want that orange seal to bend over while fluid's pushing it out if it's going to do that, so I'll just let it drain out. But I took out these seals. This one actually was stuck on the shaft when I pulled the plate out here, and this guy right here, I'm looking at it with the other one, and there's just a little bit of a lip on here, right in here, that's not on here. So probably what happened was that shaft from rubbing so much just wore it down. So I'm going to replace those ones and put some grease on here, grease it up like you're supposed to, and then I'm going to shove it back on after it drains out, because I'll let it drain all the way before I, you know, start messing around and smash that orange seal, which is still on the other side is good. Because if I put it on there and that fluid pushes it out, then next thing you know, I'm going to have a blowout, and then I'm going to have the same situation over, and I'm going to have to buy a new seal kit because that one's going to be blowed out. So I'll probably just let that stuff drain out. It's a little bit more windy than what I would like it to be. I had that bucket on the ground, but it was starting to spit back, so I shoved it up there. Hopefully it doesn't weigh too much, the weight doesn't get too bad for it, and it plopped down or something, because I'd hate to dump all that on the ground. I would not be too happy. But so I got a few minutes. I'm going to change that out, and I'm basically going to babysit this until it's done. I threw some cheesecloth in there just to catch any debris if there was going to be anything, you know what I mean. Even though that's a fresh filter and that's a brand new fluid, I still don't want it making no dirty mess, because we got to keep it pretty, if you know what I'm saying. It ain't easy keeping it pretty. Well, I got everything taken care of, got it all buttoned up here. Threw that back on, was able to. It was really stiff going on, so that was good. I mean, I had to shove that thing on, and then once I got it on, I had to take a screwdriver and push it up a little bit to get it to line up with the bolts, but bolted it on real quick. So somewhat cleaned up my mess, moved some shit around, pulled that arm down that way. I'm gonna jump in the truck and fire it up real quick, and then I'll check to see if it's leaking. If it'll leak out of that, let me see how much fluid's in there. I don't think I lost too much. There should be enough to push through here, but yeah, let's add some. I'll add some, then I'll be back. I'm gonna at least have that full before I you know, start cranking it up and checking it. So I'll be back. All right, I got the fluid topped off, so let's climb up in here. Oh yeah, I got this box. Let me get rid of this. Hopefully it'll just fire up and I don't need to have to give it any throttle, because it's a little bit colder out and might not want to go the first time. We'll see, because this thing is a cold hearted starter soft cell. I don't see any coming out yet, so give it a minute and let it run. Come to my wife with my breakfast. Oh damn, she got on a brawl.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, shake it, baby, shake it. We open it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, Saturday morning, just doing it. Ooh, there goes the bolt. And anything else gonna rattle off here? Nope. That was full, so it's all right. That thing pump, yeah. Compressor build there. And rattling around over in there. Stuck my ear up there and could hear it. Rattling around. Should be all right. Should be all right. Don't have the dust cover on yet. I won't put that on until I want to make sure everything's okay. I did have the air opened up yesterday, because occasionally you got to open that stuff up and let it drain out. Pitter patter, rat-a-tatter. Hey, smoke show. appreciate that. I'll get the can. Give me a minute, I just ain't got to it yet. She talking about came here. What'd you say?
I said I can do it, I don't mind.
Okay, if you want to do it, you can do it. Go ahead and grab it. I'd take the Cushman and drag it up while I'm in the Cushman. Okay, nothing's leaking. So hopefully that did it, and that took care of the issue. Thought it would probably be a problem with me not changing the seals, but I was hoping it was just that orange one. I should have done it the first time that I pulled them out, but I thought they looked okay, so apparently not. That stuff just wears down, you know. Over time. So what I'm going to do now is I'll probably throw that all together. I'll jump in the truck. Well, I'm not going to jump in the truck. I'm going to check the transmission fluid. Then I'm going to check the oil also. Even though I started, I probably should have done that before I started it, but I'll let it cool down. And then I'm going to slide up there and adjust the clutch because it needs it, you know. Yeah, it still looks all right. Yeah. Smoke show here. Oh yeah, smell that? Well, this ain't going no full rain. Went to fire it up the other day and the battery voltage was low, so I give it a little tap on the throttle, and next thing you know, a bunch of coal that's sticking to the sides of the stacks come down and splattered the side of the Cadillac. I still haven't got it washed yet because it was right before I was leaving, and it had just rained, so it just stuck to it. But this afternoon I'll go get it washed before it rains probably. We got to run to town and get some bird seed, man. Our bird feeder, man, these guys, that thing gets cleaned out. That thing don't last but maybe a day and a half full, and that thing is completely empty. So yeah, this looks good. So I'm gonna get off here, and I'll catch back up with you after a bit here. All right, well, I'm on to drop the cab here because I'm on to adjust the clutch here, and I released the bolt all the way, so that's how much play is in there before that thing's going to even engage. Okay, because there is a bolt that's down here that I backed off all the way because I don't want that thing in, period, when I adjust this. There's my helper board that I use because usually it's a two-man job because someone has to hold the clutch in while you're down here. Let's go down here real quick and I'll show you something, because I'm pretty sure I probably showed you before when I did this last year, but it's what you got to do. Let's see, from down here, here is the bolt that I was talking about, that I backed that all the way off. That's why you got that play like that right there. Okay, that's not doing anything right there. Now, before I can adjust this and make this, that has to be a 1/2 inch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use I've got a socket wrench in that I'm going to stick up there, and that's what I use to measure. But there's that bolt right there. I need directly in the center right here. So basically gonna have to bump the starter until that thing comes around right here. Hopefully it's gonna spin, it spins this way, I believe. So if I'm lucky, I'll just be able to bump that thing one time, but since the truck was just running, it might just start up on me, and then I'll have to sit there and dick with it until I can get it to spin right there, because that's where you adjust it from. You want it right in the middle, straight up and down with that greaser tip that's right there, and then I'll do that. I didn't want this to be all the way in or pushed in or anything like that, because that should be that's what gives you your gap when you have your clutch adjusted properly, which mine probably went out of whack. a while ago. It was down when I was down pulling those carnival moves, and around January I noticed it, so I started messing with this bolt on the side. Then I was like, no, I don't like that. I need to find a new one of these because that thing's starting to blow out on me. So if anybody knows anybody that's got a set of ladders for a C model, let me know. I need them because even though it's got the last 6 of the VIN stamped on them, I still need them because the Kim side's just roached out and always has been. I take steel wool and clean it up, but that blowout's what's concerning to me. So I'm gonna get in and I'll show you what I'm talking about. I'll bump in the starter, and these 39 MTs, they just turn so quick that it might fire it up. And if that's the case, this may take me a while to do, because you really just got to bump the key. And let's see if I can do this without starting. Just like that. So that's basically what I needed to do. Hopefully that moved it over just enough to where it's where I want it to be. If not, I'm gonna be playing around and doing that a bunch. And son of a bitch, it shoved it too far. Where'd it go? Okay, so it went up the other way, so it's spinning that way. So I'm gonna have to probably bump that thing about 10 times to be able to get it to where I need to be. So I'm gonna cut you out and I'll bring you back when I get it in the center, because this could take a while. What I'm gonna have to do is climb up and down until I get it, since it's just me. Now, if I was at the shop or I had somebody that lived close that worked with me and I trusted and stuff like that, I'd have them up in the truck bumping the starter to where it would boom boom go over, because that's what I did when we just Frank after I got the new transmission, and I sat in the truck and the mechanic had me bump it over until it was at the spot. So once I get it at the spot, I'll come back. Okay, so I've got this thing bumped over probably as close as it's gonna get. I jumped up in there, tried to bump it. It started up on me, and then when I slid down here, like I do, like a crazy man, it was right there. I'm not gonna get it any better than that probably. So that's where it's gonna be, and I'm gonna try to adjust it from there. So we've got this big old gap here, okay? You see that? That's our big gap right now without the clutch pushed in. So what you need to do, we're gonna go do it real quick because we're doing it. Let me slide out of here. Like the man, like the man. We're gonna climb up in the truck and we're going to push in on the clutch like so. We're gonna put our board right here. This is our helper board. Okay, so we've got our clutch in all the way. There is no resistance because that bolt was out. Let's see. Okay, now it's pushed back. That will probably go in a little bit because I backed it all the way out. So what I should do probably is put that down some, but let's get under here and see the gap we've got, because this is what's important here. Okay, that looks like we got that much of a gap. So when our clutch is pushed all the way in, that is not touching that clutch brake at all. So what we need is this right here to go back to where it's going to hit that clutch brake. That's what we need. We don't have any of that right now. So basically this guy right here needs to slide all the way back there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust that bolt to where I need it to be first of all, because there's not anything touching that right now, and that's out farther than what it should be. This bolt right up here, switch it right in here. Okay, that's where it usually is, where that bolt is, or it's turned down a little bit. So I'm probably going to notch it into where it's going to touch this other side right here, and then once I have it to where it's touching that, then I will come down here and start doing the adjustment in here with this guy right here on that. So that's what we're going to do right now, but I'm going to cut you out because I'm going to let the clutch out. I'm going to let the clutch out and my helper board right here real quick. I'll just do it with my my hand, so I'm gonna jump in your way real fast. Really not any too much resistance. Yeah, it's pretty soft, but you see that big gap right there? We're gonna eliminate that. We should have a little bit, but not that much. Before, it was just the play in the clutch pedal right here in the linkage. There's a little bit of play right here, but then as soon as you start, there was no gap between that. So that gap is that bolt going in. So I'm gonna adjust that real quick and then I'll be back. So I was just down here. I was just down here and I got, I'm down here messing with this guy and you can see how much play I've got in this. So I can take this bolt with my fingers and tighten this. Basically, okay, there it looks like it's tight right there. I can't move it anymore. And that's gonna take all the play out of this. I don't want any play in this right here. Okay, there's still a little bit, but not much. There's nothing from the linkage up front. I can still wiggle it a little bit, but that's not too bad. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just tighten it all the way to where there's no play in it before I get into adjusting this right here. That way I don't have too much, and that's not hitting that, and this is actually doing its job because it does have a job. So I'm going to take the 3/4 wrench here and I'm going to crank on this guy until it's where it needs to be, and then I'll get under here with the other one and I'll do what I need to. Now I don't necessarily want this turning any more in, because I don't, it is though. So what I'm gonna have to do is cut you out, because I just want this to be tight to where it won't move. Because this right here, if you do that too much, see what's happening is that's pushing in too much on the clutch right here. So this clutch is always pushed in basically. And what's happening is it'll start to slip once in a while. So then you'll be slipping if you're in a lower gear and trying to accelerate fast. I have that occasionally happen to me. That's why I don't necessarily beat on the truck too much, and I just kind of let the truck run itself. And that also saved me from tearing up the engine and shit like that. But at the same time, I don't want the fucking clutch slipping, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna do this real quick and then we'll get on to that. So I've been down here for a little bit. Whacking on this thing because teeth broke off right here when I tried to adjust this one time, and I'm spinning it this way, and I've got where'd she go, the screwdriver right here. I'm testing my gap with this to make sure I'm spinning it the right way pretty much, and it is doing what I want it to do. So I just had to get past this gap up right in here where there's no teeth, because that bolt right there, even though it won't turn it because those up there, they're rounded off, and there's that spot right there where they're completely broke off. So that that happens sometimes when you're a dumbass and you don't push in the clutch when you're trying to adjust your shit yourself. So don't ever do that. Make sure it's pushed in, or you got somebody helping you, because sometimes you get in a rush and you forget to put your helper board in there when you're doing things by yourself. So if you're going to be doing things by yourself, be mindful and make sure you know where you're at all times. Oh man, well, it's Monday morning. Messed with that clutch Saturday, couldn't get it to go. Messed with it on yesterday because I did try to take the truck for a ride, and thing would not go into gear for nothing. So I had to pretty much start the truck in gear to be able to get it home, because I just ran it down to the fire station and stuff. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna end up swapping the clutch out because it needs it, and it's gonna happen right here. This is smooth enough for me to get a transmission jack on and to be able to move the transmission back and forth and shove it back in when I need to. So basically what I need to do is I need to get all this stuff off. I need to move it over there, so I'm gonna have to start it up and shove it over there. Well, I'll drive it over, obviously, but I thought about just driving it straight over like this, because really all I need is like this much room right here. Probably I need that transmission to just go back a little bit, because when they did this, they dropped it straight down. They didn't pull it out, they just dropped it straight down and shoved it back as far as they could. Now there's two of those bars there, which I don't think they unhooked those. I'm pretty sure they just fucking dropped it straight down and moved it back, and that was about it. Because I need, you know what I'm saying, I need some room to be able to get in there to pull that clutch out and swap it out. I was unable to run those loads yesterday. I had to call and tell them that I couldn't run them because I couldn't get the truck to go in gear. I even over adjusted it, and it's still like the pedal's not even going all the way up against the wall, and it's still not going. It's just sitting there grinding. So I should be able to start it up and move it though, because at the beginning of it usually will go fine, no problem. So, and this is like the best section I have, to where there's a concrete pad out there where we have fires and stuff, but the ground is so soft, getting the truck back there and getting it set up properly would be a pain in the butt. Don't have enough room to back this thing in the way it is, because I thought about just backing it in here and having the ass end sit in the garage so I can use this, but then I was like, wait a minute, I'll just drive over that and use that. That'll be fine. So I gotta move some shit around. Harbor Freight's getting ready to open. I'm gonna go get a U-joint puller and transmission jack. That way I have the stuff, that way I can tear it down, and then once I get everything down and out and whatnot, I should be able to go get me a transmission or a clutch, because they've got a couple in Fort Wayne. I'll probably have to get the flywheel resurfaced. I'm thinking I might be able to get that done here at the O'Reilly's. That'll be nice if that's the case. That way I don't have to sit there and worry about it getting done, you know, 45 minutes away or something. I don't want to have to make too many trips away if I don't have to, so we'll see. But yeah, that's what's going on. Had to call and cancel those loads, which I hate doing, but at the same time, if I can't get the truck to go into gear, I can't get the truck to go into gear. And I mean, it's been past due time to be changing that thing out, because it did get changed in 2019, but running those containers and stuff, it's just so hard on the clutches and whatnot. It just tearing it up. So those heavy ass trailers, trying to get them to move around and whatnot, not cool. And this thing's been a pain in the ass for a while, and I figured it needed done, and now it really needs done because it won't go into gear. So that's trucking. Well, I'm on my way to Harbor Freight in Van Wert, because they didn't have what I needed in Defiance. And there's this fucking guy right behind me here, this Canadian truck. This guy, I'm sitting here driving down the road, and he's sitting here chucking his fucking Red Bull cans and stuff out the window like he don't care about fucking littering and stuff. So I stopped right in the middle of the road and made it to where he had to stop, and I got out and I said, dude, what are you throwing your cans out for on the side of the road? What's wrong with you? He's like, oh, didn't really have anything to say. He's like, let's get out of here before we have an accident or something. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? He's lucky I don't call the cops and turn him in for that shit, because that's not cool, dude. Wherever you're going, you can throw that shit away. 2 Red Bull cans, you don't need to be throwing out on the side of the fucking highway or in the middle of the country. Bullshit. I bet he's going over to 30 here, and if he's that close, I don't know. That's just irritating, dude. You can't wait until you stop somewhere to throw those cans out. Is it that big of a deal that you throw them out the fucking window in the country? Come on, man. What's wrong with people? This is why you can't go into Buc-ee's. He's a white dude, too. It's not like he's some Indian, you know what I'm saying, out here just doing the shit. So, disappointing. It's disappointing in people. Extremely. Well, I'm back. Had to go to Van Wert, which you've seen that little clip there. And I got what I needed to. I've got a couple things out here already. I'm just going to try to get the area set up. I've taken the catwalk off, moved the toolbox, and this is where I have this located, the truck. This should be perfect area right here to drop that thing down and push it back. If I need to, I'll jack the cab up and I'll use this as helper weight, or I've got These I can use if I need to, you know, just throw something else on there, a strap or whatever, to take some of the weight off the transmission jack. But I've got this out here for now because I'm gonna have to remove some things, hoses and stuff that are gonna be in my way, like all this crap, you know what I mean? And I figured I would tape off some of the littler spots, like down here when I take these off, this section, and then over there where the slave valve's at, when I take those off. I did pick up a U-joint puller, so let's walk around the corner real quick in the Buc-ee's. And I may even throw the tent up and put it over top of here just to block the sun. If not, I'm going to be getting tore up from the floor up. We got the 2,000 pound capacity, low profile, and comes with a chain in there too. That way we can slap it on there if we need to. Got the old U-joint puller, that way I don't have to sit there and worry about popping any caps off those U-joints. Hopefully I'll be able to use them again. If not, it shouldn't be a big deal. I know place down the road carries them, and I could probably get one from Defiance Truck Sales if I needed to. Just get a hold of them and call them up. If not, if this one's tore up when I go up to Fleet Pride, when I go to get the actual clutch, because I haven't got that yet, I'm gonna wait until I get this one up before I get that, or make the phone call, because I need to see if that flywheel needs resurface. So, and I think I might be able to get it done by O'Reilly's around here. I don't know if I've talked about that or not yet, but basically gonna get in here and unhook everything first, get everything ready to and I'm gonna get the jack under it, make sure everything's cool, and figure out how that goes, and get my area all set up pretty much. So I'll be back. Well, I'm back here, put up the tent because it's a little warm out today, and I still got a shirt on because it's I'm in the shade at least, so I haven't taken it off, and I just don't really want to get too dirty. So I pretty much got everything that I need here and some. Big Chachi's back there if I need him. I'll probably need him pretty soon to get some of those the bolts out. Didn't even need that U-joint puller, so that might be something that goes back. I don't know, because I didn't even use it, even though I am using the box for garbage. Yeah, we'll see. Anyways, mark that. That goes to the front one. The smaller one obviously goes to the back, so these don't have to come off because they're going back and forth. Just this one airline that's unhooked right over here goes here at the end, and then this all does what it needs to and shoots over there to the slave valve. Yeah, this thing just freaking plopped down and plopped over, so I just moved it out, wiggled it, and threw it out. Put the caps over here. They're nice and good. All the little splines stayed in there, so that was nice. So basically, the clutch linkage is right here for the pedal. Basically just need to go back under there, put that box under there, because I was dropping some shit and I didn't want to drop a bunch of grime too much, you know what I'm saying, all over the place. So I put the box under there. So I need to move the box out, get the transmission jack, which is on the ground over there, roll it back up under here, and start jacking it up and take some weight off this. That way I can get these bolts on. Probably what I'll do is I may put a couple bolts right here, and maybe throw a chain there and hook it up somewhere. That way there's not all of the pressure just right on the jack, just in case something happens. I don't think anything will happen. I'm really not too worried about it, but I would like to have a helper just in case. So maybe I'll hook something up there. I know I've seen before on YouTube, dudes pulled a transmission and they just used the bar above. That's all they used, was that bar above and maybe something else. I can't find the video, it was super old, but I seen them do it at right in their farm, and they used like come-alongs or straps, and they just hooked it right up to the transmission and pulled it out right from there. Now that would probably be something that I wouldn't want to do, because like I need to, when I shove this thing back in, they call it stab the transmission. I need to be able to move that that transmission jack has those knobs to where you can move and position that to where you can slide it right in perfectly, jack it up, turn it down, do all that stuff. So that's probably what I'll do next. Everything, yeah, like everything else is unhooked. I don't need to move this stuff. What I'll do is I'll just unhook this bolt when the time has come. I'll just grab a bungee and strap it up and pull it to where it's not hanging. It should be fine. It's not going to be in my way too much. I mean, it's going to be in my way because it's what it is, but at the same time, I don't want to drain all this transmission fluid to move these hoses. I could, but I don't need to make the mess, and that stuff is just going to do nothing but make a fucking mess. So I'm going to try not to. I'll see if I can work around it. I should be okay. The only thing I'm worried about is getting that that clutch up, because that thing weighs about 100 pounds, or having something to where it's going to be able to, I'm going to be able to use it. I may throw a strap right here and put like a bar or something through it and lift it up and do it that way. I've seen that done on YouTube before, so that's something that we're going to be getting into here pretty soon. Hopefully I can maybe do some time lapse for you, this stuff. I know I probably should have done that, but I didn't. And maybe once in a while my wife's going to come out and run the camera. If she doesn't, that's just what it is. But I'll at least pull you in and turn you on when I get things, you know, more better and done. While we're back here, all the bolts are loose and free on the transmission. So what I need to do now is I need to try to climb under the truck and pull it back, or figure out some way to pull it back. I've got a strap hooked onto the jack, the transmission jack. I've also got this chain on here, and then I've got this strap and these chains hooked into here. Like if you were going to pull it, that's what you would use. You know what I'm saying? You hook that up to your tow motor, your chain right there. You put your hook on it and pull it back. Everything's broke free. So you can see the transmission moving right here when I do that. So now I just need to get it to slide back. It is heavy, so I just can't grab on this stuff. I need to like get under the truck, maybe hook something to that that jack, because there is little handles for me to be able to pull it back, or I just need to slide under there and be on my belly and try to yank on it. I doubt I can get that thing to move because it is super heavy, but we're gonna try. If not, I'll hook I'll rig something up to hook those on too, and I'll jack it and I'll pull it back like that. I'm putting it in. I'm probably going to need my buddy to come over, because I doubt I might be able to get it to move in, because he sat on the that cross member bar there and just shoved it in with his feet when it was time. So we'll see what happens, but let's see if I can get this thing to move here. I don't know, we'll see, folks. I figure I get the old come along out here. This is pulling it out. So I do believe, I don't think it's out all the way. I'm still not hitting anything. I'll have to get up there and look. That shaft's still in some. Sorry, I'm right in your way there. I could probably start dropping it down, because I'm going to need to anyways, so I can get it a little bit lower. That way I can pull this thing back as far as I can. I'll probably need to move this really quick, so I'm probably going to unhook all this stuff real fast, because I'm going to need to loosen this up and possibly move it back to another location to be able to do it. Obviously you can see it's gross and gritty, and there goes a tool, but at least it's out and broke free, so that's a positive thing, if you know what I mean, right there. Bada bling, bada bloom. So once I get that out and back out of the way, I can start taking that clutch apart and get that thing out and do some rigging shit like this too, probably. But yeah, once I just need to get this back a little bit farther. So that's where we're at on the progress right now. Well, it's out. I've probably got enough. Actually, I've got the amount of space that I'm going to be working with is all I'm going to get. So let's get under here real quick. I'm sending Garrett and James some pictures of what's going on here. So that's the amount of room I'm going to have to work. Not the best amount, but that's trucking, and that's what we're given, so that's what we'll deal with, because that's all there is. There's no way to get that transmission to go anywhere else, because it ain't coming up through there, and it ain't dropping down anymore because of those right there. So it's going to sit right there until it needs moved back forward, and then when it gets moved back forward, it'll get pushed right back up in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a bar for to hold this clutch on, and I'm going to hook that strap up to it. That way that takes the weight off there, so when I undo that clutch, it don't fall back down on me or anything like that and smash my toes. Because I mean, I honestly don't have I don't have shit for room in there, so it's a good thing I am small and I can do this. But I was telling my buddy about it. He's like, something wrong? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna swap this clutch out, blah blah. He's like, well, at least I got all the bell housing bolts cleaned out and broke free for you, because apparently a couple of them snapped off and he had to clean them all out and replace them. So yeah, not a ton of room, but that's okay. I'm a small nimble fella, so I'll be able to finagle up in there. Yeah, that's gonna sit like that right now. Basically used to come along with a chain on the bottom right there, and drug it out the rest of the way. I just threw the crowbar down between the yoke, and I hooked the come along to drag it back. So when I do go to put it back in, I'm definitely going to need help, because I don't think I'm going to be able to do that by myself to get it to come back forward. I'm meeting my buddy here, so I'll give him a shout if I need him. But yeah, I'm going to go get something to stick on that. I may even be able to use the big crowbar wherever it's at. I think it's laying down on the ground. Stick it in there, hook the strap around it. I seen somebody do that. That way when you undo the clutch, it'll fall back on that and not drop down on you. Then you can let it down on the ground, because that's a smart thing to do when you're in a situation like this with no fucking room whatsoever. So like, I'll probably come in from the other side, slide up in there, snake up in there, and I'll be either on this side or that side to break those bolts free. And then once I get it out, I can drop it down. I'll drop it down, and then I'll probably drag it out. What I'll do is I'll probably put my I've got this over here, crawler. So what I'll do is I'll throw something on top of the crawler like that mat, and then I'll slide the crawler under there. So then when I do drop it down, all I gotta do is drag it straight out with this. So less is more, if you know what I mean. And if I wanted to, I can slide under there with this. This gives me enough room to slide under there and get that thing broke free. I just need to make sure that I get it all strapped up. So that's what's going on. Let me get pretty real quick, because I'm probably all mucked up and kind of dirty. Matter of fact, I know I am. I've probably got shit in the back of my hair. I don't know if you can see it or not. I don't know if you can see that shit or not. I know I can feel it kind of back there, because my head was laying in the bell housing at one point when I was under the truck doing some shit. We got everything out with the flywheel right here. We got the clutch pieces. Unfortunately, these little nuts were broken off the flywheel, so I don't know what the fuck is going on here. But you can see where it's wore down in there pretty good. You know, the throw bearing was super wobbly and loose when it was on before I pulled this off. I'm sure the springs had tightened it up now, you know what I'm saying? But like in this guy right here, I was breaking teeth. I could never get that to turn. Do you see where that bolt's at? That bolt is not even down in those teeth all the way. And when you go to crank and turn that thing, those teeth would just break off. So half the time I'd be sitting there slamming a hammer up against one of these to try to adjust it. But this is a TT, or maybe an OTR, or this could be an Eaton. I don't know, because I paid 800 and something for it last time. So it could be the Eaton clutch. But either way, it's going bye-bye, and I'm going to throw that in the back of the Cadillac. We're going to take it up to Northwood. That's Toledo tomorrow. It's going to get resurfaced. These little nubs are going to get pounded out and some new ones put back in. The guy told me, he said it's like he thought these old style ones right here were about 175. This is good right here, unless this bearing's bad. But it's okay. Talked to James Pretty on the phone, FaceTimed him a little bit. He was getting ready to do his class, take his class up there in Michigan where he's at. And he said he's never seen any like that and was kind of pondered. But then I got a hold of my buddy and he's like, oh yeah, I forgot you had that old style. And I'm like, thanks, man. But yeah, I was pulling, I used the strap. I've got a strap up in here, and I'd take a screw, like it's hanging from there right there, and I'd take a screw and I'd hook it through and I'd screw whatever down. So the transmission's sitting right there, and that's where it's going to stay until we put it back in. So everything is, yeah, I had my head laying in that bell housing, and that's a bunch of grease and shit that's flung and stuck up there from the years, and just, you know, grime and slime and all that kind of good stuff that sling back that never got cleaned out. Yeah, here's this. I've got that's wore pretty good right in here. You can see the grooves on it. Maybe, I know I can from here, but you might not be able to because I just drug it up against the asphalt and shit. But I've got the new style that just clamps over that I'm going to be putting on, so that thing can fucking go. And pretty much done ski. I'm gonna load that in the back of the car. I'm gonna clean it up a little bit, then I'm gonna load it in the back of the car. It is super, it's mega. So I'm gonna be pumping the guns, lifting that thing up. But went okay. Here's where I got that hooked up right there. It's hooked up around the thing, and it's just going over there, and it pretty much just cranked that back. So it really wasn't too bad. It is a lot for one guy to do, but it can be done by one person. I made sure when I talked to my buddy, he's like, yeah, dude, one guy can do it. It's just a lot of tedious up and down, back and forth. And that's why it's nice to have a little gopher. Fortunately, my wife is not my gopher, and I don't have a gopher, but I figured if I can do this by myself in the driveway, then I can do this anywhere I need to on the road. I just need to find a chunk of something like this that I can, you know, bam, I need a transmission jack, a couple ratchet straps. I don't necessarily need to come along. I've got enough of those 2-inch ratchet straps. I could have used one of those to pull that transmission back. They're just not as smooth as the come along, but other than that, yeah, I like to be able to do this stuff myself. I did buy this truck when I first bought it as a learning tool, so it's nice that I'm doing a like complete 180. I had to turn down loads because I couldn't run the truck because of this situation. So now I'm doing this myself, because every time I go to the shop, they'd be like, why don't you just do it yourself? Just buy a, you know, transmission jack and do it yourself. You can do it. They tell me that. They know that I can do it, and I'm the only one that's, you know, it's the labor. It's really not that big of a deal. That is nothing. It would be nice if the concrete was a little bit smoother. Other than that, it's fine. When I have to, I'll hook a strap up to, I'll just basically pull it back forward when I go to stab it, or I'll have my buddy come over and his ass will sit right here while I'm down low, and he'll just kick it with his feet and shove it in. But yeah, unhooking the stuff and shit like that, it's just nuts and bolts, dude. I used probably a 9/16. I used a 5/8. I used a 11/16 for the flywheel. I believe that's what it is. And other than that, I use like a couple 3/8, 1/2 inch, 7/16. It's real simple. It's just nuts and bolts. So anybody can do this. It's just remembering where everything goes, and that's kind of my thing. I like to take shit apart and leave it set for a few days and then see where I can. Like, I called up the Fort Wayne store because that's what I was hooked onto when I was looking up stuff for Fleet Pride, and the guy's like, yeah, I can get it. It said the 4th, and then today it was like the 7th, and I'm like, well, order me one, and then I'll see, you know, if I find another one, you know, I'll just let you know. He's like, well, I'm not going to order you one, because if I order you one, I don't want one sitting on my shelf. I'm like, why not do this one fucking clutch? If it's sitting on your shelf, what's it matter? So I called over to Toledo Northwood, and they said they had some in stock, the OTR and the Eaton. The Eaton's about $200 more. I said, just fucking hold one of the Eatons for me, because I'd rather put an Eaton one in with an Eaton transmission than the OTR that's cheaper. But yeah, I can do it. It's not like I can't do it. I mean, it would be nice if I didn't have to get that flywheel redone. That would be the only thing, if I was out on the road and I needed to throw a clutch in real quick. Probably the flywheel would be the only thing that kind of would set me back, but I'm sure you can get by without it, without getting it redone in worst case scenario. I've seen new ones for 14-inch are on truck, 4-stage truck for $199. So I mean, worst case scenario, if I needed to, I could just order a new one, but I don't want to sit there and wait for it. And I don't necessarily need one of those just sitting in the garage rusting. So I'll get that one resurfaced. Everything should be okay. And this thing is dirty and gross. I've got some grime and shit coming down, and I need a shower. I'm freaking disgusting. I mean, look at me. Look at me. I look like I've been in the minefield or something like that. But, you know, just moving back and forth is the biggest thing. Like, I'm glad I got this. Wife said something about it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go grab that real quick. And I'm glad I did, because it's nice to have. You'll probably want some safety glasses on. But yeah, here's my area. So what happens is when you go to turn the key, the starter, this guy right here kicks out and he catches the flywheel, and that's what spins the shit. So yeah, that's a little bit grimy in here. There's a little space right here where shit can come up in, but I don't believe the rear main seal's leaking at all. I'm not even sure where that would be at, but this thing looks fine. I bet it would probably be somewhere in here. This guy right here, and that just looks like it's throw from up here and over here. That doesn't look like this guy's leaking at all, so it should be okay. Yeah, the transmission thing, but yeah, you can see like the amount of grease, because I grease that section up all the time right over here. So that's the only thing you really need somebody for, is when you go to stick this guy right here like this on your tabs, they need to be on the back of the tabs. So basically it needs to be like this when you stick it in, and then it goes. And put shaft here, there's a little bit of play, which is fine. They told me that it's okay to have a, that's not a ton, that's just a little bit. So that's what's going on, man. Just getting dirty, learning new things, nuts and bolts, changing some shit out, greasing up the old sidewalk. I'm gonna have to use the old pressure washer on the sidewalk here one of these days to clean that up. But other than that, not too bad of a day. Not bad a day. I mean, my body hurts. My body's been hurting from the last 2 days, because I was laying up under there trying to get that clutch to adjust, and I finally got it adjusted, and I actually had it, it's like it's over adjusted before I took it out, and it was not doing anything. It wasn't engaging. I think the throw out bearing's gone. So I don't know, it just wouldn't engage like it should have, because usually when you push the clutch and you hear a little tick tick noise, and I never heard that for the last couple days. So that's probably what's going on with it. But it's out. We'll put the new one in. Maybe I'll record some of that shit, but for tomorrow, probably Wednesday is what I'm thinking, because tomorrow we're gonna go over, we're gonna get that taken care of. I'll get the new clutch, I'll get all the stuff I need. I'll go see my grandkids if the oldest one's home. If not, we'll go see the baby and hang out for a couple hours, and then we'll come home, and I may throw that flywheel up there, just depending on how I feel. It's really not that big of a deal. If not, Wednesday morning I'll tackle it, get everything put back in, and we'll go from there, and we'll fire it up and see if it works, because that's what we need to do. We need to see if it works. Got my tin a little dirty. May need a new one. May need to buy the wife a new one, since this one's getting all dirty. It's kind of mucked up anyways, but it's all good. So yeah, that's trucking. That's Chad Keegan once again doing everything himself, by himself, with no help. But I mean, if I need some help, I got some backup. I can call in for help. So yoga mat I would lay on occasionally if I was on concrete, and then I threw it on top of the crawler when I dropped the the clutch down on. And then the other piece is like, this bitch didn't want to come off, man, and it finally come off, and it caught me on the lip, and my arm was like up in there, so it's like it come down on my arm and shit, and like, it was what it is though. I just fucking threw it over to the side, and moved it out the way, rolled out, and dumped it on the ground. So that's what's up. Just doing everything I can. And it's a good learning experience. My buddy was like, oh, good times. I'm like, dude, it's really wasn't too bad. It's a learning experience for me. So bought this truck to learn on, and I'm definitely learning. I mean, if I can change a clutch, and I know that how I can do it, if anything happens, I'm definitely not paying somebody else to do it. So it's just another one of them things, man. It's just another one of those things. My buddies would be like, why are you here? Why don't you just do it yourself? So we're doing it. We are doing it. I'll check out that old Eagle. Leaned by at a buddy that worked for them in when we were in high school.
Gosh, it looks beat the heck up.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that front hood there. It looked like somebody chained it and drug her around. Just cruising over here through the LKQ in Toledo. Come over and got a 2-inch input shaft for $50. That way when I need to set that clutch, I can. My buddy said he had one around the shop, and I asked him to look. He said he'd look after he got back from a road call, but I never heard anything from him. So I figured I'd just swing over here because I got time to kill, and why not have something like that sitting around the house. And when I came, they said, oh, we got one right here. And it was a brand new one. And I told her, I said, look, I don't need that new one. So I'm just out here cruising around now looking at some stuff.
What are these?
Those are steering axles.
Okay.
You know, that's why the one at the top's turned like that.
Okay.
Yep, so you need a steer axle. You get one from here. These are rear ends right here. Some old school shit.
Some Mullane right there.
Some Mullane. She's looking at
Wild
Mullane,
lettuce.
man. She's checking out the foliage.
Checking out the leaves.
Hey, man. So yeah, that's what's going on. Drop the flywheel and
That sounds horrible.
something must have plopped up. Drop the flywheel and off at Fleet Pride. So that's getting turned and taken care of right now as we speak. They said we'll call you this afternoon and pound those nipples out and stuff. And turn that thing and resurface it, and I'll pick the clutch up, go back home. I'll do it. Probably, I mean, if I can this afternoon, but I mean, worst case scenario, it happens, you know, I gotta wait until tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, to do it, when I can have my buddy come over, since he works second. But
These trucks for sale?
these are trucks. Yeah, you can buy parts. That's why all the numbers are wrote on them. Different numbers on different things. Sometimes the tires will have their own numbers wrote on them and shit. But yeah, just cruising through. I wish I could go over to where the transmissions are and look, because I wouldn't mind getting a new topper, but I highly doubt they're going to have the topper that I want for mine, because they usually they don't have anything old.
Well, this all looks old.
They like my old. I don't mean like this might be old, but this isn't my old. Now, hopefully that thing's not rolling around back here. I may have to get out and move it around. You don't think they got a section with transmissions unless they're setting up somewhere. Bunch of hoods. Definitely don't need any of those around my house. Yep. Good times. Good times thanks to trucking. Hey, hey, hey.